Have you ever looked back and realized you were living someone else's version of you? There is a moment, maybe you felt it too, where the version of yourself you're performing becomes too heavy to carry. The smile you paste on, the strength you fake, the truth you silence, and one day, quietly, you realize you don't even recognize the person in the mirror. This is the Turning Point Journey Podcast Episode 2. Today, we're going to talk about something we all do, and what happens when we stop doing it. Pretending. Have you ever looked back and realized you're living someone else's version of you? Not lying to other people, but lying to yourself. Saying you were fine when you weren't. Pretending you didn't need help, just putting on a smile. Playing the part, but feeling hollow. Yeah, I know that version. I was that version. And for a while, it worked. I can tell you it worked. But the longer you fake it, the harder it gets to remember who you really are. This episode is about self-deception, the lies we live, the mask we wear, and the moment we get honest enough to stop running. Because the truth doesn't just set you free, it reconnects you to yourself, to your voice, to your life. So if you felt like you were performing more than living, this one's for you. Let's talk about the lie I lived. Let me tell you about the lie I lived. It didn't start as a lie. It started as survival. I figured out pretty young that people responded to a version of you that's a little bit more clean, put together, confident. So I became that. I became the helper, the responsible one, the strong one. And I wore it well. I promise you I did. So well that people believed it even when I was falling apart inside. I told myself I was fine. I told myself I was in control. I can stop anytime I want to. And the thing is, when you lie to yourself long enough, you stop hearing the truth altogether. It just becomes like a jumbled, cloudy mess. I want to put it in a way where it's more understandable for you guys. When you don't even realize what the lie that you are living, when you yourself don't even realize you're doing it. You've become that addict. You've become that person that lies. And we all do it. That's the problem. We all do it. And my addiction didn't start with a bottle. It started with pretending not to be in pain, pretending I didn't need help, pretending I could handle it. And somewhere in the pretending, I lost track of who I really was. The hardest part of getting sober wasn't quitting. I'll be honest. I think quitting is the easy part. Once you fully decide you want to do this, quitting's the easy part. Quitting's the part where it's a decision that you make and you stick with it because internally you have made that choice to want to be better. So the hardest part of getting sober wasn't quitting. The hardest part is being honest with yourself. Just getting honest with how you're feeling and what you're doing. Getting honest with other people. Because when the performance ends, the silence is so loud. And in that silence, for me, I had to ask myself, who am I without this lie? Who have I become? You think about this correctly in your head, and you realize back, who were you? What type of person were you? Because I've forgotten who I was, the type of person I was. That's interesting. And it's interesting on so many levels that we forget who we are. Let me take it a little bit back, because I want to say that when I talk about a lie, you might be living a lie without even knowing it. Not because you're dishonest, because you're disconnected. You're not you. You act differently depending on who you're around. You feel exhausted just trying to hold it together. Some days you just don't want to even wake up. You don't want to get out of bed. You just don't want to do anything. You want to be left alone in your head, in your thoughts, in your misery. You avoid the hard conversations by smiling through the pain or avoiding it just in general, because I do that. I do that. I avoid it because I don't want to talk about it. Something is hard for me. I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather push it underneath the carpet. You feel like you're watching your life more than you're living it. And you start to measure yourself by how pleased others are by you, how pleased they are with you, rather than how honest you are with yourself. And that's a shame. It's a shame that you have to measure yourself with the standards of others. Do I measure up to the perception that person has of me? And I'll tell you now, I figured out I don't give a shit. I'll be honest. Honestly, I don't. You might hate me. You might love me. I don't care. I care for myself. I care for my well-being because I want to be there for others and for my family. My kids, they're very important to me. And the importance here, and I'm thinking back right now, is not because I had a bad childhood. It's just because I can see how society has shifted and what it's become. And I'm afraid of my kids growing up in that wrong realm, wrong people around them. And I want to be there for them. That's why I made this change, because I couldn't imagine a life for my kids without me there for them. And that's the hardest part. That's the part where it just sometimes gets to you. Here's the truth we don't like to say out loud. Denial protects us for a while. It gives us time, space, distance, but eventually it isolates us. You become drawn apart from everything in life, even to what is going on outside that door right now. I remember this isolation feeling. It was such an awakening. I was drunk and I remember my dad picking me up. It was a conversation we had. And I said, "Oh, it's only Tuesday." And he said, "Son, it's Friday already." And I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, I lost 3 days. It's Friday? You're kidding me, right?" "No," he said. You're in the disease. It's Friday already." It was such a slap on my face, that feeling. And, obviously I didn't, that feeling didn't just make me realize it and that was it. But Like I want to convey that message here is that separation, the loneliness, the person you're not. When you lie to yourself, you can't ask for help because the version of you you're pretending isn't the one who's hurting. The longer you fake it, the harder it becomes to reach out because now you're not just struggling, you're ashamed of how long you've been pretending. It's almost to the point where you don't want others to help you because they do offer. You're not the only one that you can't tell me that people have not offered to help you because then that's lying to yourself again. Then you're in the same denial method because people have reached out to try to help you. You just don't realize it. So I think the longer you fake it, the harder it becomes to reach out. Because now you're not just struggling, you're ashamed of how long you've been pretending. And that's how shame grows. This is how you're the shame that binds you into this disease. This is how it grows. It's in silence, it's in secrecy, in stories we don't tell. There's a recording I did in my car the other day. The Road to Recovery series that I kind of want to put together. And I was telling myself the story of the 3 U's. And the 3 U's is a you that you portray to others. We all do this. That's the you that others see. There is the you that only your intimate friends and family know. The you that others don't see. And there's the you that you never tell anybody. And I'm looking at you and you know what I'm talking about. There's the you that no one knows about. And dare you tell anybody, trust me, you won't tell anybody. That's the you that I'm seeking here. That's the you I'm trying to hold because that shame is tied to that you. And the moment that you let that go, I promise you it's so freeing. You just need to tell somebody. This is where sponsorship comes in. This is where this community comes in. You need to vent that. Whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, you need to. And the minute you untangle that shame that's stuck to this you that you're hiding, it's such a freeing feeling. You would be surprised of who you become, who you can become without this shame tied to you. One of the most powerful moments in my journey was the first time I said the truth out loud. Not to impress anyone, not to gain sympathy. It was just to tell the truth. I said, I'm not okay. I'm not. And for the first time, I meant it. It wasn't just another, oh, we're doing this again kind of thing. It was something different in me. Like I meant it because I needed to mean it this time. Confession isn't just about guilt. It's about reconnecting. Because when you speak the truth, even if it's just to yourself, you start remembering who you are underneath all that performance. You reconnect with your inner voice. You reclaim your story. And slowly that shame starts to loosen its grip on the you. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you told yourself the full truth? And nothing but the truth, so help you God. No, but the full truth. When was it? I can tell you mine. When was yours? Because I promise you, if you're in this disease, it was a long time ago. Let's ponder that. Let's listen to that for a second. Our inner thought right now. When was the last time you told yourself the full truth? So while we ponder that question, I want you to think about this reflection for a moment. What truth are you still avoiding? I want you to write it down, whisper it out loud, let it exist. Because the minute you let this exist, it becomes part of this world, right? You don't have to tell the entire world, but you do have to tell yourself. So I want you to write it down. I want you to whisper it out loud. So here's my turning point action for you. I want to challenge you to write a truth letter to yourself. I want to do this with you because I'm going to do mine as well, and I want to share it with you guys in the next episode. But I want you guys to write a truth letter. And then if you feel like sharing it, I would love to read your truth letter. This is what I want you to do. In the first paragraph, I want you to talk about the lie you used to live by. So that first area, because once you start writing, I know it's going to come. That first focus area, I want you to talk about the lie you used to live by. And then second paragraph underneath that, I want you to validate the truth that you are choosing to live by now. I want you to validate that by writing it down. I don't want it to be something that's just existing in your head. It needs to be written. And I promise you, if anybody is courageous enough to share it, I would love to read it. But this letter is just for you. Or share it with someone you trust. Doesn't have to be me or the community. Either way, that's where it begins. With honesty with you. It begins there. Each week, I want to try to involve people in recovery. And the way I want to involve them is on many levels, whether it's an audio recording or a phone call I had, or just something I read online, or something from our community. But I want to share an email that I got from Timothy, one of the guys in my Thursday night AA group. And I want to read that letter to you. Hey, my name is Timothy. For a long time, I walked into every room with a mask on. I knew the part to play, crack a joke, act like I was fine, pretend I had it all together. Truth is, I was falling apart, but I figured if nobody saw it, maybe it wasn't real. The lie I lived didn't start with me drinking on the weekends or drinking at parties. It started with me telling myself, don't let anyone know you're hurting, because in my culture, that's a shame. The lie felt safe at first. It let me keep my job. It let me keep my family off my back. It let me keep the question away. But after a while, it just got heavier. I told myself I could stop whenever I wanted. I told myself I shouldn't ask for help because, strong men don't ask for help. I told myself I was strong enough to carry it all. And the more I said it, the more I started believing it. Even though deep down inside, I knew I was lying. The cost wasn't just the drinking. It was the truth I lost. The dinners I skipped. The way people stopped believing me. And the way I stopped believing myself. Timothy, that old hack. Why would we even ask him anything? So if you're asking me what my turning point was, it wasn't some big dramatic crash. It was smaller, onto the fact that it was when I was looking in the mirror and not recognizing the guy staring back. It was smiling at my niece's birthday and realizing I had no excuse left. It was the shame that finally got too loud to ignore. And people noticed that I was drunk. I'm drinking every day, to the point where they had to put me inside before the cake came out. Wow, that's heavy. The first time I told the truth out loud, the phrase, "I'm not okay," I thought people would walk away. Some did, I'll be honest, but a few stayed, and that was enough for me. If I can say anything to whoever's listening to this podcast, don't wait as long as I did. The lie will kill you very slowly, trust me. The truth hurts at first, but it's lighter and lighter and lighter to the point where it becomes very light for you to carry. Your brother in blessings, Timothy. Well, I have to say that is a pretty powerful story. And when I got Timothy's email, it was something I had to share with you guys, because that moment where he talked about they had to take him inside and wasn't able to sing happy birthday with his niece. I remember something similar that happened to me. So it was very emotional, very touching when I heard it. So where are we with this lie? Because the lie I lived felt safer than the truth until it wasn't, right? Because lies isolate, truth heals. You don't have to have it all figured out right now, but you do have to be honest with yourself. That's where it starts, right? That's where you start. And if you're still pretending, if you're exhausted from carrying that baggage, the image, let this be your invitation. Put it down. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. That's the turning point. That's the journey. And guys, I will see you next time. Take care.